story for Christmas week. Imagine finding out that your best friend is your brother. That's the story we're going to have this half hour. We're going to meet two men, both adopted by separate families, who grew up in the same community, became best friends, and found out later they were brothers. Really great story, and you can tell right now they're just sort of chatting away.
I know, here in the crew, everyone was saying how much fun they've been just talking about it. I guess they have a lot to catch up on. Plus, we're going to have the fashion, let's say fashion highlights.
And there was to know about each other, but the one thing they didn't know was that their lives were even more deeply entwined than they ever could have imagined. Gary Klar was raised in Fairfield, Connecticut, a beloved boy with a happy childhood. Steve Barbin grew up in Bridgeport, just 5 miles away, the only child in another close-knit family. Gary played college football, and after a brief stint in pro ball, he became an actor. Steve also went to college, then worked in insurance. They happened to meet in a bar in 1975 and became fast friends. Both married. At Steve's wedding, Gary served as best man. Two men, best friends for 25 years. Then 3 years ago, they learned from a state agency that their bond was more than friendship. They were biological brothers, both given up for adoption at birth. And Gary Klar and Steve Barbin join us now. Good morning.
Good morning, George. Happy holiday.
Thank you very much to you, too. Now, Gary, it was 3 years ago this week that you first got the call.
Absolutely. 2 days before the new year of 1999, out of the blue.
So tell me about it.
I was at home with my 3 teenagers at the time. Very rare that you'd have them all around the kitchen table. My wife was out shopping, wouldn't get home for 3 or 4 hours, and about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a lady from the state of Connecticut tracked me down and within minutes said, "Gary, do you know that you're an adopted child?"
And you had no idea that?
Never, ever knew. Almost 53 years old, and it was a revelation that literally shook the foundations of...
And then how'd you find out about Steve?
Interesting story. As she kind of unraveled my tale, I said, you know, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm an adult. I've lived my life as Gary Klar. And my best friend in the whole world many years ago told me he was adopted, so I'm like him. And at that moment, she stopped me and she said, "Who's your best friend?" I told her, and she said, "Can you give me his phone number?"
Not another word, that was it.
Well, then I said to her, "If you're going to tell me it's Steve Barbin," I stopped her, "if you're going to tell me that Steve Barbin is my best friend, you give me the greatest gift in the world."
And she did.
She did.
Now, Steve, you guys do look alike. You guys have the same coloring. You're both losing that hair.
We've always kidded on that, yeah.
But did it ever cross your mind that you could be brothers?
Well, we've always felt like we were because we were so close with everything, and our wives always said that we were like brothers and acted like brothers and were inseparable. So, yeah, I think there was that cosmic feeling that we could be brothers, but not to this point that we actually were blood.
Now, your mom, your biological mother, had 13 kids, and she gave up 9 for adoption.
Yes, she did.
And now 6 of you are still close. You've all come in contact before.
That's right.
Right. We've made very close contact with 4 more of the kids, and so 6 of us are kind of real solid, and 5 of us are in the greater Bridgeport area with a sister who's in Florida. Our sister Joan lives in Florida.
Now, you say you're kind of solid, and I have to ask you about this, because Robin and I were talking about it earlier. It turns out that one of your sisters was someone you actually dated many years ago?
In 1979, as my dad lay dying from a horrible accident, I met a girl in the hospital who was coincidentally working there, and her aunt was also very ill. And we kind of fell in. We met there. We fell in. A short, quick, brief, intense 6 months.
Intense.
Very intense. And I don't think I saw her for probably, well, until the story broke. And then guess what? You dated your sister.
So what do you say the first time you see each other after you hear that?
Well, the thing I said to the lady from Hartford when she, realized that, I said, "Is she okay?" I said, "Is she all right with that?" And she said, "Yes, she is." And we didn't know. That's the problem with adopting kids and putting them out to different families, different faiths in a small radius from where you were born. We didn't know. So if there was any forgiving to do for dating, we forgave ourselves very quickly. She's a wonderful kid.
And it turns out another one of your brothers was a weightlifting buddy of yours.
Her brother, they were adopted into the same family. And from there, they found out later on that they were from our family.
Wow. How has the whole experience of finding out your brothers actually changed your friendship? Or has it?
Between Gary and I?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's made it stronger. The fact that we know we're blood obviously would do that, I think. But I think we've always felt that. I mean, at least on my part, I know, I've always loved Gary as like a brother, a big brother that I never had with it. So he kind of filled that role for me, I think, finding him even at a later age. But it hasn't changed anything, in a worse sense or anything.
So do you wish it would have been found out earlier, or is this the right way for it to happen?
It's the right way for it to happen. We're okay with it. We've always been solid with it. My dad, who was the greatest father a kid could have, gave me very big shoulders to carry this bang 53 years later. Do you know you're adopted? And I couldn't have wished for a better father and a better mother, and to grow up in the family I did. And I hope I depart the earth before he does, because he's the greatest friend I've ever had.
Oh, don't say that.
It's true. It's true, you knucklehead.
Thanks a lot for sharing that story.
Okay, absolutely.
Have a great New Year.
Happy holiday.
Same
Thank
to
you.
Bye-bye.
When we come back, we're going to